Up, y'all? It's your girl Jayy Marie. We are back with another NFO Cyphers interview. Today I got the one and only Myekehl in the
Check,
building.
check. Yo, what's going on?
How
What's
you
going
doing? How
on?
you
Doing
feeling?
well, doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm having a day, but you know what?
Yeah.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful I'm here. I'm here with
That's
you.
real. That's real. Yeah,
We're
can
gonna get
only be
into
grateful.
we're gonna talk we're gonna have a little conversation. And you recently dropped Earthstrong.
I did drop
I
earthstrong.
really like this EP.
Oh, thank you,
Like
thank you, thank you.
I love the. I'll get into my favorite song in a little bit.
For sure, for sure.
But talk about the process of making this and the concept of the album,
Yeah.
just how all of this came about.
Yeah. So, process of it and the concept of it kind of go hand in hand. I think the process was just finding songs. A lot of my time spending that I spent making Earthstrong was just trying to find ways to make music that I really wanted to connect with, that I felt was something that I could give out to the world and let be a representation of myself. So I started doing this rap thing just about like a year and a half ago, and that was kind of
Okay.
like just again, Earthstrong kind of just ended up being a culmination of a few songs, a few years of like really putting together some ideas that we had of just like how life is going on in the world for ourselves and for other people, and just some things that we think that they need. And when I say we, it's me and my brother Cam Seventh. He produced majority of the things, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, literally, yeah,
Brother duo.
yeah, yep.
Okay.
Got to keep it in the family. Have to keep
Okay.
it in the family, but yeah, the process behind it was amazing. The concept was kind of just like trying to give people really started with myself. I think just trying to find ways to give myself positivity in the time of like chaos. I think, and I think there's this especially when it comes to like seasonal depression and things like that. When you're coming out of that, there's this time of the spring where it's like, okay, I might still feel these same things that I felt during these times of feeling low, but you have to strengthen, strengthen your mind, to strengthen everything that goes on inside of you. And I think that's just what Earthstrong it means so many different things. It comes from Jamaican heritage and patois, which means like you're strengthening to the earth each year as you grow. So like on your birthday, you would tell someone happy Earthstrong
Yeah.
type thing. So it came from that, obviously, just going more strengthened with what I believe our roots are and what that is, and then also just trying to give a little bit of positivity in this time where it's
It sounds
chaos.
like this is a little bit of a therapeutic, like
Yeah, definitely.
therapeutic sessions for you.
Definitely.
How do you like? Because I know, like as artists, you want to give yourself to your craft, right?
Yeah.
But you also don't want to overshare. Do you have to like find a balance between
That's
that, or do you just
man.
go all in?
Nah, so that's what I'm currently, I think, in the process of figuring out. Like how much do I want to necessarily give, and how much is giving too much. Because like there's a lot of emotions that go into making music, especially when you're making it from a vulnerable place.
Yeah.
And I think most artists can attest to that. Like it's not easy to be able to tell the truest story all the time. Sometimes it's easy to just beat around the bush and make something that's super palpable and relatable. So
Yeah.
that it's like, okay, well, we can play this on the radio and do this, but
It
digging
doesn't
in,
connect with you
it
at
doesn't,
all.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it doesn't necessarily connect with myself. If I was to listen to it 5 years from now, would I be like, this is the truest representation of who I was in 2025? And like that's just what I think goes into just the process. I'm kind of getting away from the question,
Yeah.
I think, but like that's what I think goes towards the process. I think, just trying to stay as true as we can to what is going on with my inside, my mental, my spiritual, and trying to find a way to connect with other people through that. I think that's just been the biggest thing
What's
with
your
the
favorite
project.
song on the album?
So we're calling it an EP. I don't want to call it an
EP,
album yet. We still
project.
working on it. We still
Okay,
working
got
on.
it.
I want to, no, it's all good because it's music at the end of the day. Like
Right.
it's just meant to be heard and received however it's received. But it is an EP. Just we gonna save that album for a little bit later on in the
Album
line.
coming
But
soon, y'all.
coming soon, coming later. Who knows? But my favorite song, man. So I have different reasons to love the different songs that I have. So like Triple Beam and Hank Aaron are two of my favorites. That's the intro and the outro. Those probably line up in my mind. Just like I said, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, if I was to listen, I'd be like, this is as true as I could get. Those were some of the first songs that I made. Like I said, trying to figure out what the
Like, what
the
direction
identity
you
was
wanna
going to be,
go.
direction, what it was going to feel like. And those were just songs that was like, I made them. I didn't think about necessarily what the song topic was going to be about. Didn't necessarily think about trying to find like a certain punchline to, make the song sound cool or something like that, or like anything. It was just, how can we be honest and how can we be true to who we are? And I think those were some of the first representations that I had of that. And then it was kind of just like, how do we build on that and moving forward. But I could say all of them are my favorite. I would literally have like a reason to give you like for Up to be my favorite song, and for Human Nature, for the interlude even, But
I'll tell you what my favorite song
go
is.
ahead.
My favorite song is Human Nature.
Human Nature with the mind.
I'm a girl, so that's probably why I like it. But I do want to talk about working with the mind. Like, how was that? Man, how was that collaboration?
That was amazing. That was amazing. It was a blessing. So I was able to get in contact with him. He's been around. So I work out of Studio Shapes. The owner of Studio Shapes is Renzel. Shout out to Studio Shapes. But the owner is Renzel, and he's just been like a spearhead in the community of Chicago as far as music, as far as just community and culture goes. And he had just this relationship with a bunch of different artists, obviously coming up. He had a relationship with Chance the Rapper, with No Name. He obviously with Saba. Mick Jenkins was somebody he worked heavily with. In the Mind was somebody he worked heavily with as well. But I came into an opportunity to send a song over to him, to the Mind, and try to work a way out so that we could collaborate on it, make it make sense for both of us. And having the backing of like a Renzel, and having the backing of the studio Shapes that we're at, and just the family of him knowing that what we're making out of there is that quality. And then hearing also we were able to meet a little bit before that and just connect a little bit, and then obviously after more, just connecting more. But I think it's just been like somebody who's trying to gain more relationships with the people that he looks up to in this this community. I think he has like a really unique perspective and sound. How like I'm finding a lot more of his SoundCloud stuff. Shout out to Emmy. He's one of the homies at Studio Shapes, but he sends me a bunch of like older like SoundCloud songs and SoundCloud raps and stuff like that. And I'll hear like some of their like records that they had together, and it's like y'all were going crazy, and it sounds completely different than what he's making now. So just finding inspiration and finding a way to learn from the people that have done this before you and who are really ingrained in this community, who are legends at what they do. So really just been a blessing to be able to work with people like that, and everybody else around the studio, and everybody else that I was able to work with on the project. Like I said, it's just been like working with family and extended family from there, so shout out to Moyana, shout out to Seven, shout out to everybody else, but it was fire.
You actually, like, these questions are actually going exactly in order, so I love it.
Perfect. Love the flow of conversation.
We're talking about, you touched a little bit on, like, just the different artists that he's worked with, and, like, you being able to go back and do your due diligence and, like, doing, I wouldn't say research, but, feeding into your passion a little bit 100%. More to kind of understand, like, Chicago music scene a little better.
100%.
Based off of your research, what, and even now, so past and present, what do you feel, how do you feel like the state, what do you think about the state of Chicago music, the Chicago music scene as a whole?
Yeah, I think it's in a very special spot. I know it can get a lot of flack because people believe that the only thing that's being promoted out of Chicago is drill, and they might find a problem with that. Me, I'm like, I understand, if you want to have music that's more positive towards, just our mindsets and what we believe, especially for children growing up. I understand that, but there's also so much other music that's being made, and I think, especially people at Studio Shapes, there's like a bunch of the younger artists out now who are doing their things and like building community, and just to name a few, like Moyana's one who's like making super honest music that isn't necessarily like trap or hip hop or something, what I'm saying, like that, but it's like it really connects with your spirit. Same thing with Galaxy Francis is somebody else, okay, so who works out of Studio Shapes, but who makes something that's more like hip hop related and has more 808s and something like that and trap drums, but it still relates to you in a different way. And then there's other kids right now who are really like doing their thing out of Chicago, like just to name a few people who like I've been able to connect with, like let's say like Mike DFG, who's doing something out of Chicago, and his sound is like a little bit more trap centric, but it still connects with you in a certain, in a specific way. Same thing with everybody else who's doing their thing. But I think Chicago, the Midwest, I like to look at it as the Midwest, being from Milwaukee, so I have to think about it like that. But Chicago, the Midwest, all of it, but like I think it's in a really special place to where you can do whatever you want, and not necessarily fall into the lines of what people look at Chicago as, and still be successful. You look at artists like Chance, like Saab, like Myekehl, like No Name, the people who I was naming earlier, and everybody else in between, you know, like they weren't necessarily doing the popular at the time. They were just doing what was revolutionary, you know, and I think that's what we're here to do. That's what the music scene in Chicago feels right now. Every time I go and have a conversation with somebody else, they're just talking about how like this feels like a renaissance right now for the music scene, for the culture, for everything that's going on. It's like, I mean, if you look at the political landscape, you look at just how things are like in society and societal landscape, it's like everybody feels the need for change. So I think the music is just like one of those catalysts for that. You know, it's people look to the music to speak for the times. And I think right now, the people in Chicago specifically are doing a really good job of like what's going on right now in the world. Also, to keep naming a few more people, Rico Shy, another person who like hugely inspires me. Again, works out of Studio Shapes, but like everything that he does is he's trying to push the culture forward.
Yeah.
Literally everything he does, whether he's just sitting there in the studio session and you're just talking to him, whether it's him in the studio, you know what I'm saying, in the booth and he's rapping, or he's just like going out shaking hands with kids at Healthy Hood or something like that. Like everything lines up, and that's what I'm seeing out of Chicago right now, which is beautiful to see. Is like everybody is really passionate about it, and they're also willing to go out and do the work behind it. Yeah, so it's amazing. I think Chicago's in a really good space.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.